Dave Burkett here, live from Radio Row Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans, along with Pat Carter, former Lions player, former Lions assistant coach.
That's correct.
And poet, author of a couple books. I've got his first one right here, All-American Poet, and the second one right there, 4-year starter. And Pat, we'll get into this a little bit more later, but this is sort of like your life story written in poems, right?
Yes. Yeah. It tells me growing up in Florida, attending Florida State University, being drafted by the Lions, and then ultimately traded to the Rams. And that's all done through poems.
The first version is really the Florida State version.
That's correct.
The young years, let's call it.
That's correct. That's correct.
And that's more the professional years, including some.
Yeah. And it also talks about even while I came to the Lions in 2006, 7, and 8, and I was assistant coach on Rob Marinelli's staff.
Okay, so let's start there, because 2006, 7, 8, you just so happened to coincide with a man that Lions fans out there know well, Dan Campbell.
Correct.
And the question you were his position coach.
That's correct.
The question that I get most often from Lions fans is, what is Dan like in real life? And I say, just watch what he is on the screen.
That is so true. That's a great way to say that.
Okay.
What a really tough-minded individual. I have the utmost respect for Dan. We're both the same type of player, both blocking guys that are capable of catching the ball. But this guy was out there playing with one arm, catching the ball and blocking and making plays. And I just thought that was so impressive for the fact that he was able to do that on one arm, with one arm.
So you know him probably better than most out there, having been his coach. When you heard that the Lions were hiring Dan Campbell and you saw that kneecap speech or heard that kneecap speech, tell me what went through your head.
I just knew that was just typical Dan. But if you know Dan, okay, let's look back on that now. You know what I mean? I bet you 31 other teams would like to have a coach that was biting kneecaps too right now.
Yeah, I think, the initial response nationally was one like, wow, what is this
that?
Guy?
Right.
In Detroit, like that hit home and people were like fired up.
That's
and,
correct.
You felt the hairs raise up on your arm about it. So.
That's correct. He's a hard hat. He's a hard hat kind of guy player. He was a hard hat kind of player. And that's how he is as a coach. And I'm always of the philosophy, a team takes on the persona of their coach. And that's exactly what you have here with the Lions.
Well, we like anecdotes here. So give me your best Dan Campbell story, like something that you remember from him in his playing days. He could be in the locker room. It could be in the meeting room. Maybe you took the guys bowling, whatever it is. Just your favorite, favorite memory.
Now you got me and you caught me off guard because I'm flat-footed on that one. I really am. But, I mean, well, I do know they all chipped in and bought their coach a laptop. Now, that was really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I never had a MacBook, and they all chipped in and got their coach a MacBook.
Well, like a Christmas present?
Yeah,
or
it was a Christmas gift. It was a Christmas gift. I do remember that. That was really nice of them. And matter of fact, that's the first Apple product I had, and I've been buying the Apple stuff ever since then.
Apple a day, right? Maybe it keeps it different way.
That's right.
All right. Happy for this success. What's it like as you, a former player coach, to watch this team now?
I'm extremely happy. And I probably was as disappointed as most Lions fans were, because all season long, I mean, the Lions were the best team in the league. You just couldn't tell me any different. I know the injuries finally caught. That's how I see it. The injuries finally caught up to the team, and the Redskins had a good day themselves, and unfortunately, fell short.
Yeah, it's a tough team. Jaden Daniels, an excellent quarterback, obviously,
definitely.
And Lions had a good season, winning 15 games.
That's right.
Despite that, so in your book again, 4-year starter Pat Carter, former Lions player, former Lions assistant coach. A lot of these poems are maybe about moments, or there's one about your draft class. There's one. You were telling me a story yesterday about the first time you saw snow.
Yeah, I wrote a poem in this book. It's called Snowfall. But Benny Blaze was the first pick of the draft class. Chris Spielman was the second pick, and then I was a second-round pick too, but I was the third pick of that class. But anyways, Benny and we were roommates, and we're both Florida kids. I didn't know. I had never seen fresh snow. I was always under the impression that, snow would be like rain where you could hear it overnight. But No, we woke up and saw that fresh snow on the ground. We ran out and dove in that snow and made snowballs and were throwing it at each other. What a wonderful time we had. I remember that.
Well, so how long did you like snow, or how long was it before you hated snow?
Oh, yeah. That love evaporated very fast.
Real quick.
Yeah. It stayed too cold there too long as well.
So you were part of one of the great draft classes in Lions history, I think. I mean, in terms of depth of class.
Yes, I would say that. And because probably to me, the star of our draft class, he didn't even get to fulfill his NFL career, which was Eric Andelsek. He was a guard that he got run over in a truck accident, and never got to fulfill his dream, and which is so unfortunate. But yeah, we had a pretty solid class that year. I wasn't fortunate enough to stick around. I got traded, but the other guys ended up panning out, so it was all a good deal.
For people who don't know, Eric Andelsek, right? He was killed. He was doing yard work at his Louisiana home and was hit by.
And he had his headphones or something on, and he couldn't hear the vehicle veer off the road, from what I was told.
Yeah, a truck ran off the road.
Yeah,
extremely sad story. And talking to Lomas Brown last year, I think I wrote this. He said that's really what maybe stopped that Lions team in the '90s from continuing on, at least early on. Quarterback issues maybe played a part in it too. But when that offensive line falls apart, Mike Utley and Eric Andelsek, that's tough.
And I happened to be on the field that day with Utley. I was on the Rams when that happened. We were playing against the Lions.
So you said that he played 1 year in Detroit, and obviously the change in offense is sort of what led to.
That's correct.
But Mike Martz, I think a guy that people here respect in Detroit, just from what he did as both coach of the Rams and his time was as coordinator in Detroit. What did he mean to your career?
He really was significant, because once he came on, he came on with Chuck Knox when Chuck Knox was hired with the Rams, and he was my position coach, and he helped me advance in certain ways. He helped me change my stance on some things, and it took, matter of fact, made my game take off somewhat. And so once we did that, he hired me to come and coach with him, and just gave me an opportunity to still be involved in the game. So I'm always forever grateful to him.
Couple more minutes here with Pat Carter on Radio Row, Super Bowl 59. Pat, when you watch NFL now, who are some of your favorite tight ends? What do you like about that position? What do you miss about that position? Maybe the way that you played it too, that you don't see enough of.
I look at it now. I mean, I probably had to be an offensive tackle now. How athletic these guys are. These guys are so athletic. 87, the Lions.
Laporta,
I love him. I love him.
Yeah.
He does everything. He does everything well. And I'm a huge fan of him. The young man, Brock Bowers. He's phenomenal.
Huge year.
Yeah. These guys now, I was not that athletic. I'll be honest with you, as these guys are now. So it's just amazing to watch these guys do the same thing I do, but even taking it to a higher level, which is so impressive to me.
In your head, though, could you do some of those things? Can you make that one-handed Laporta catch?
One at a time. I'd have caught that. Yeah, easily. Yeah, I'd have easily done that.
Same way. Because you only played 1 year in Detroit, I don't know what team you sort of consider your, baseball, right? Somebody goes into the Hall of Fame, they're a Tiger, or they're a Montreal Expo, or whatever it was. What is your level of rooting for the Lions, your level of love for that team?
I mean, it's a back and forth, really, because now I played a total of 10 years. 6 of those were with the Rams. So my allegiance is going to probably go to them. But I'm forever going to always root and cheer for the Lions, because they drafted me. And I mean drafted me high. I was the 32nd pick of my draft class. And I'm going to always be thankful to them. And then the opportunity to be able to coach with the organization for 3 years as well. So, I'm diehard Lions too now.
You still have
my wife is from Detroit.
Yeah, you got to be.
Matter of fact, I want to give a shout out to my brother-in-law on the east side of Detroit, Jamar Scott. It's your brother-in-law, man, hollering at you. Hope all is well up there, bro.
You got to get him some Lions tickets. I don't know. Call up your old guy, Dan.
Nah, he'll be all right. He'll be okay.
Well, no, Lions had such a great year, 15 wins, and obviously it didn't end the way that anyone thought. But I'm sure for you, the ties to Chris Spielman, who's still in the front office, the ties to Dan,
that's right.
That probably.
No doubt about it. I mean, but those just make me want to root for them the Lions even harder or more, because I want Chris to succeed. I want Dan to succeed. I know Brad Holmes, when I was coaching in St. Louis, Brad Holmes and I, that's where Brad came from, the Rams. And I knew Brad Holmes back then. What a great young man. And to see him in the position that he's in now, I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy for the organization. And I'm extremely happy for the city.
Okay, one last football question before we get back into the books here. I'm going to grab this one so we can hold that up just so everyone remembers that 4-year starter. I was talking to DJ Dozier earlier, obviously former Lions player, was there in 91, played for the Vikings, and he was telling me some of his draft memories, I guess. Do you, because the draft is so different now, it's, this cottage industry, everything is televised. What was draft day like for you?
Wow, that's a great question. I'm going to tell you why. I just knew I was going in the first round.
Yeah.
And, but I was projected to go to the Rams. It was the Rams, the Patriots, or the Bears. And after all of those teams picked, I panicked. I began to panic because my name, I just kept falling down the board. And I remember Darryl Rogers. I remember answering the phone. Darryl Rogers said, "You ready to be a Lion?" I'm like, yes. I was just so happy to get off that board. I didn't care who called. Yeah, I was just, but thank goodness my affiliation with this, because I love the city. I really do. And, so I'm just thankful that I was even picked to come to the city. It's a great organization, great place to be.
All right, let's talk writing now. And how'd you get into poetry?
I kind of fell into it because I didn't know I had this gift, but it's a gift that I tapped into. And over the last few years, I used to just write stuff and post it on my Facebook page. And but the responses were so overwhelming where people kept telling me that, hey, you need to write a book. You need to write a book. And so I decided to write a book with my first one, which was All-American Poet. But I had so many, I've written about 600 poems now. So I got so many poems, but I knew I had enough for another book. And obviously I got enough for more now, but so that's where 4-year starter came, because that story needed to be told as well.
I'm going to hold this up just so you can see. We talked about the 88 draft class.
That's correct.
There's one.
That's correct.
And I just so happened to flip to this one, Magic Johnson's house.
Yes, I went to Magic Johnson's house.
You got a story about going to Magic Johnson's house?
Yeah, it was cool. My teammate, Daryl Henley at the time, knew Magic Johnson, and he picked me up one day and took me to a incredible pool party.
Yeah.
It was just fun. It was just some fun experiences I had. When I had moved to California.
I'm sure not all the details are in that poem.
No,
that's
right? Pretty much. It was pretty good. It wasn't nothing crazy. Nothing crazy.
Well, I think it's an amazing way to sort of tell your life story through these little,
and that's kind of what
little poems, right? There's the Rams years.
That's correct.
So it's a great thing.
Yeah.
You got a third one that you're thinking of? I mean, you got enough poems?
No, I have a third one, but it's going to be, but this one is to be strictly inspirational, because I'm telling you, God is moving something through me right now. And I've been just writing some really great inspirational poems. So look forward to that in about 6 months to a year.
Okay, so maybe Radio Roll Super Bowl 60.
Yeah, that's
we'll have
correct.
you on
Where
again.
is
Maybe
that one at?
San Francisco. San Francisco. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
All right. Let's get out of here on this Super Bowl this weekend. So Eagles, Chiefs, Mahomes going for a third one. Obviously, the Eagles are juggernaut themselves. I know a lot of Lions fans hope they be here, but give me a prediction and why.
I wanted to be saying Lions. I want to be sad, but I can't. I don't think Kansas City has enough ammo to overcome Philadelphia. So I'm gonna pick Philly. I'm gonna say 35-28 Eagles.
Okay, I think a lot of people that are picking the Eagles are picking high-scoring games for that reason.
That's
right? They don't think that Kansas City, the way they've played offense this year, can keep up with them.
Right.
So he's Pat Carter, former Lions coach, former Lions player,
correct,
author of this book right here, 4-Year Starter. You can pick it up. Where can you buy it?
In any of your book outlets, Amazon, Books A Million, Borders, wherever they sell them, but it's there.
Get your hands on it. I know I've plugged my book plenty.
It's a great ride.
Give it a read, and maybe the next one will have a little Dan Campbell story in there as well.
All right.
Pat, thanks for joining me again.
Thank you.
Pat Carter, Dave Burkett, Detroit Free Press, Radio Row, Super Bowl 59.
Thank you.